Hi folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. Once upon a time, and I say this almost like a storyland here, but once upon a time I was shocked to catch the biggest lake trout I'd ever seen while I was bass fishing on a sandy beach over in Quebec. So it's a place that I'd gone year after year after year to fish. And I wasn't fishing this sandy beach for lake trout. I knew that as the water started to warm, the one place it's going to warm quicker in the spring is on shallow water with a sandy bottom. That sun is going to go down there, penetrate that, heat it up, and it's going to expand through the water. And this is going to be a place that not only predators come to get the comfort of the heat, but also the prey come, and so the predators get to eat them there. Now, the interesting thing about this lake trout was the folks there at Beauchene decided to keep this and have it mounted for me as a presentation for catching a fish bigger than any lake trout I'd ever caught in that water before. But what they found was inside that lake trout's stomach, or actually the tail was sticking out its mouth, was a large smallmouth bass. Now this report isn't about that as much as what it represented. It showed me that in the springtime, sandy beach areas, just with a few feet of water, can be a collecting point for a lot of different species of fish. And I went on to repeat this 2 or 3 times in the Grass River. I was fishing for muskies, and I came to this sandbar where I remembered what that happened to me in Canada. So I would cast a sandbar, and I would end up hooking not a muskie, but a walleye, 3 different times. And these 3 walleyes that I caught through the years were some of the biggest I've ever caught. Now, walleyes aren't known to be frequenting shallow, sandy water in the bright sun, but they do. And it reminds me of my favorite northern pike place that I have every spring. And it's a sandy beach right along the St. Lawrence River. And I go there and I cast bucktail jigs. There isn't any structure on there except the warming water and the sand. And it's my favorite northern pike water in the spring. It's something that fulfills my dreams in the winter of when I can go and fish for northern pike again. So what I'm telling you is don't overlook sandy beaches, especially in the early part of the year. They can really gather fish every species of fish can be found there. Even the deep water species like lake trout can be a wonderful place. I'll end this with one final memory. Years ago, I was doing a show down on Sixberry Lake, one of the Indian River chain of lakes. And my guest on this TV show was Al Scavone, who was the regional manager of our region for the DEC. And we were fishing in a canoe with fly rods, a sinking fly line, and streamers. And every time we'd go by this beach area, where and I'm saying beach, it's a sandbar area before the beach on the lake. And every time we get to that sandy area, bam, our fly rod would go off and we had hooked some really nice lake trout. And it was windy that day, and I remember 3 different times we had these lake trout and we couldn't get them in. The boat was going faster and the trout were heavy, and we ended up losing 2 of the 3 of those trout. But it was a lesson well learned, and I've carried that lesson with me through life, and I wanted to pass on that to you today. So don't overlook sandbars, especially in the early part of the year. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.